Hey guys, so I've been doing a lot of video game stuff lately, which is a big collectible thing for me that I love to do. I love video game consoles, games, taking them apart, things like that. But the thing that is my biggest passion is comic books. And as you can see in my Nerd Room tour, I have a lot of comic books. I have this massive shelf, let me show you, right here, of just endless comic books. And I feel like I should go through them for you. I've tried making this video multiple times, not now, but over the past maybe year or so. And I originally did this one big long, like multi-part video where I went through every single comic on my shelf. And I thought, why don't we just turn it into a series? Because then I can kind of go as I can just go along and kind of do one every now and again, and you can see all of the different collections that I have on my shelf. So I'm gonna do my first one, and this is going to be a new series, and we're going to call it On the Shelf with Stranded J, just because it's on the shelf. Give me 1 second. So for this first video, I'm going to do 2 books, because they kind of go hand in hand, and it'll just be easier, and it'll make it go faster in a way, too. So let's just get started. I'm really excited to get back into some comic book stuff. I have tons of single issues. I still have a pull list that I've been picking up, but my big thing is collecting trades. I still collect single issues, but a lot of them are spread over multiple houses, at my parents' house, at this house, you know, things like that. So it's going to take, I have like 5 or 6 boxes of regular comics, and this shelf is right next to me, and it's just easy to pull one down and kind of talk about it. So let's get started. So the first thing I have, I'm going to go from like the top of my shelf down. So this is going to become kind of, I will probably do like if I have multiple volumes of one run of a character, I will probably go through that in one video just so we can get through it quicker and I can talk about them at length, but still not every volume single, because that will take forever. It will take years. So I'm just going to go from top to bottom. I don't really have them alphabetized. I don't really have them. I just have them kind of in order of characters. So we're going to do it that way. So to start out, at the very top of my shelf, I have 2 hardbound books. I usually have my Batmans that start, but since these go hand in hand, I have them next to each other. But these are my 80 Years of Superman and 80 Years of Batman hardcovers. I recently picked these up a couple years ago. They're not too old. You can get them at like Barnes & Noble and stuff. I picked this one up when these both came out when the issue 1000 of Batman and Superman came out respectively. So this one came out first. Basically what they are just hardcover collections of some of Superman's greatest stories. The reason I picked them up is because there's some on here that I don't have in other volumes or I don't have in single issues that I thought would be fun to have. When I first picked this one up, I do have a Superman omnibus that I got that I'll talk about at some point. That has a lot of this in it. So this is kind of not as exciting as it used to be to have, but there's some cool like different like people who wrote little essays on Superman in this that kind of discuss their experiences. You have stories that have first appearances on them, and they're all in full color, obviously. You have an introduction by Paul Levitt, a foreword by Laura Siegel Larson, Jerry Siegel's ancestor. And then a couple different stories. So you have Action Comics #1. You have it's called The Coming of Superman, The Mystery of Freight Train Robberies, which is Action Comics #1. You have some other covers that they show. And you have Action Comics #2, which continues the first issue of Superman, the first appearance. The Origin of the Vigilante. You have The Terrible Toyman, How I Saved Superman by Marv Wolfman. Too Many Heroes, Clark Kent Reporter, which is a thing by David Hadju. The Super Key to Fort Superman, kind of talking about, it's the issue with the Fortress of Solitude from the 50s. Super Duel in Space, Supergirl, first issue of Supergirl. Endurance, The World's Greatest Heroine, Part 1. The Infinite Monster, Superman, the Super Spectacular, yeah. There's a lot. So as you can see, you have like an introduction here. The cool thing about this book as well, before I get any further, is when you take off the dust cover, which is also cool, but you have, the cover with Jim Lee, and it has a bunch of other covers behind it, and then you have, Action Comics #1 and things like that. But then the book itself has just all of these crazy covers from all the different decades of Superman. So that's fun. Pretty big book, and as I said, it has multiple stories in it that are important to Superman's legacy. So you have Supergirl in there, you have the Kurt Swan Superman drawings, you have kind of the retelling of his origins, you have Batman and Superman together, you have all kinds of awesome books kind of blown up and in good shape that that are good to have for your collection, but are kind of difficult to find nowadays. Especially some of them. Some of them are shorts that are just made for this specifically, so that's kind of something cool that you can have. They have some of the fun, they have excerpts from issues, so I think these are from issue 800, when they kind of celebrated Superman, just mini stories at the end here, and it all wraps up with a Superman story, Superman in the Game, by Neil Adams and Paul Levitz. Neil Adams did the art, Paul Levitz did the story and the writing, and that was part of issue 1000 that came with that. So kind of cool if you're a big Superman fan. It's kind of a nice thing to have if you don't want to get a massive omnibus. It has some of the essential stories you would want to have in a Superman collection. So this is going to be pretty easy. This is a Detective Comics Batman version, so it's essentially the same thing, has the same kind of idea. They look good on the shelf together. Let me take off the dust cover for this one as well. You have some fun covers on here. This one is a little bit more fallen apart already. They're not the best, like, just because they're hardcover doesn't mean they're like the best quality. I think because, they're meant to be mass produced. So just know that, like, they haven't, it's not really falling apart. They break in quick, if you want to call it that. This one has many origins of villains. You have, obviously Detective Comics number 27, the first appearance of Batman. You have these same forwards. This one's by Senator Patrick Leahy. You have the Detective Comics. You have kind of the inspirations behind it, and then you have the Detective Comics issue 27, which is the first appearance of Batman. And then you get, the first appearance of Robin. You get Joker. You get Batman number 1 on here, I'm pretty sure. You get pretty much everything you're looking for, Two-Face. It's kind of fun to see the different art from over the years, getting into like the 40s and the 50s, and a lot of crossovers and things like that. It's just fun to kind of have some of these, like I said, these issues, like you have some Neil Adams in here, some fun stuff with Deadshot. It's really just nice to have some of these issues that they're kind of hard to find, but they think are kind of important to the mythos of Batman and kind of the progression of Batman over the years. They have some fun covers. They have some fun stories that they brought in from other things. They have Detective Comics New 52, 27, which they kind of turned into a landmark thing as well. So yeah, these are all really kind of nice to see. Like I said, they're not super expensive. I think I got them cheaper at the time, and they're probably even cheaper now. About $30, so it's about the same price as a lot of paperback trades out there these days. It's just cool to have, if you're wanting to get started in collecting and you want to collect some of the essential stories that are really hard to get, especially the first appearances and things like that. These are a nice alternative. They're a nice thing to have on the shelf. They look good on the shelf, and they, they're just a nice, like, almost a reference if you're looking for just something to have, like I said, to reference those issues from so long ago, especially things like Action Comics number 1 or Detective 27 that are near impossible to get unless you are a social media app creator or something like that. So these are a much better alternative for being able to find them on the shelf. They look great. They're fun. They kind of line up. They do have more of these. I know they have a Joker one. They have a Flash one, a Green Lantern one. I was kind of getting, I picked up, they come out every time they hit a milestone issue now, it seems, and I just picked these two up because these are my two favorite characters, my number 1 and my number 2 here, and I probably won't pick up any more of them because it's just, they're cool, but I don't need all of them. I just wanted the first couple. So that's the first episode of On the Shelf with Stranded J. I hope you enjoyed it. These will get a little more interesting as we go along because they're going to be actual stories. These are kind of just compilation books that have just random stories in them, so they're kind of hard to discuss. But I hope you guys enjoy these videos and are along for the ride. If you have any questions about these or anything else that's on my shelf / any comic info, feel free to leave a comment down below and we'll go over them. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time.